On this episode of Meet Me for Coffee, we welcome rising alt pop sensation Chloe Wilder. At just 18 years old, she's already carved out a space in the music world with her hauntingly honest lyrics, cinematic production, and a voice that feels both timeless and fresh. From her early days releasing music as a teen to her latest releases that show just how much she's grown as an artist. Chloe is a force to watch, and she's joining us right now from the road on her latest tour. Thanks for joining us.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry if you can hear this ice being dumped out. Um, Thank you for that intro too. I appreciate it.
Hey, you know what? You have some great tunes. A Tallahassee song on your newest
Oh.
EP, "Life's a Bitch." uh, I definitely kicked back with a couple whiskeys on ice or on the rocks, and it's a very
That's what that's what
easy
that
song.
one's meant for. I love that.
Yeah, would you say that like Tallahassee reflects on a time of transition for you?
Yeah, definitely. That's mainly what it was about. Um I was in between moving from LA to Florida. I was kind of in that in between space where I was spending a lot of time in LA, but I still wasn't totally sure of myself. And then the first time I really went to LA by myself, and decided I was going to move there. I was there for like a 10-day period. And I wrote Tallahassee like 3 days into that, I think. And yeah, it felt really, really real to me at the time, and it still does. And it kind of takes so many different forms because I think of so many people when I sing it. But Tallahassee, I'm from Clearwater, Florida, but I spent a lot of time in Tallahassee. I have a lot of good friends that go to Florida State. So yeah, that was a big part of my life. And I just kind of was missing it, but also not grieving it, understanding that like I need it to sort of get older.
Absolutely. A lot of people up here in Canada or just around the world, they don't understand or realize that Tallahassee is the capital of Florida. It's not like Disney World or Orlando.
No, it's not. Yeah, you would think Orlando maybe, but yeah, Tallahassee is the capital. And it's funny, I feel like when I sing it in certain places, especially like Canada, Tallahassee sounds so southern, which I mean it is in its own way. But like when I say this song's called Tallahassee, I feel like everybody's like, wow.
It's got its own feel to it, and that's something that people look for, something different. And I believe that song is just a banger. Life's a Bitch, your latest CP, written in just 10 days. Like
Pretty much.
honestly, some of the best songs are written like in minutes, right? So
Yeah.
how do you feel about this album in accordance to your latest your earlier release when you first released your first EP at 14?
Oh yeah. Well, you're right. It has a lot to do with the process and everything. And I mean, I, when you have a really fun and sort of easy time creating something, I think that yeah, you're just attached to it in a different way, and that's how it was for Life's a Bitch. Because yeah, I mean, I wrote Heavyweight Champion really early on in that trip, and then I wrote Tallahassee, and then I wrote Fear of the Fall, and then I wrote Life's a Bitch. So it's kind of cool when that happens. And I had a couple other on the project that were the previous year, but it's yeah, I'm just super grateful for it because I'm a big believer in like not really having a process and kind of just waiting for things to strike. And so that's kind of what I've been doing, just waiting for that organic moment. And that really happened, luckily, all kind of the same time with Life's a Bitch. So I'm really grateful for it. And it feels extra cohesive to me, which is really fun. And I think that just comes with getting older too and like creating more bodies of work. And I just had, you just get a clearer vision naturally as time goes on. And that's what happened with this project.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds awesome, and just to kind of delve into what you said, you're actively, looking for the next part, what feels natural, whatever, instead of just sitting there just waiting for something to happen, like a lot of musicians do. It sounds like you're a go-getter. I mean, 14 years old to release an EP,
Yeah.
and now you're traveling all over, like
Yeah.
in Europe and Canada last week.
Yeah.
It- is it tiring for you? How do you get your energy to go up on stage every day?
I think I'm just at the right place in my life for it right now. I actually just turned 19 earlier this month, and I just feel really excited every day and really dazzled by the whole thing, and I think that'll always stay. And for some reason physically I'm not tired yet. I think I'm just so obsessed with it, and I'm just like pretty mind blown by the fact that I get to do it, and I'm just yeah, it literally just like stars in my eyes every day I wake up and I know I'm going to play a show.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be, right? Test question. Your music blends elements of folk pop and Americana. Like, how do you describe your sound in your own words?
Well, thank you. Those are all the words I want to hear too. But yeah, I would say sort of like ethereal folk. It's all a little dreamy. Definitely like dashes of Americana. That's a big inspiration for me. I go pretty like vintage when it comes to Americana. And yeah, I feel like just like new ethereal folk is what I would go for. Yeah, new ethereal folk pop probably.
Being that this show is called Meet Me for Coffee, I've met so many people at coffee shops and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
feel like an Americana needs to be made like an actual caffeinated drink, and the Americano now that it could be the Americana.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. They should like only play Americana music at that coffee shop. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely.
Cute. Yeah.
How do you take your coffee? Do you drink coffee?
I do drink coffee. I do. I'm a latte girl, oat milk, and whatever monstrosity kind of flavor I'm feeling that day. I'm big on caramel. But I also, yeah, just like a plain oat milk latte is usually my tour drink. But I love like I was just like a sweet treat coffee. I love that stuff.
You cited Lana Del Rey and Bon Iver as influences, which are good influences. I mean,
Oh, thanks.
it's not something like totally detrimental, but how do they shape your music, and are they how are they there in any other unexpected inspirations? Like, are there any other inspirations that are
Yeah.
unexpected for you?
Definitely. I mean, yeah, Lana is my number one. I have her handwriting tattooed on my arm. I love her so much. And that was kind of I like sort of in a weird way grew up on Lana Del Rey. My sister's 10 years older than me and I listened to what she listened to. And Lana was a big part of our lives and still is for me. And she kind of made me want to start writing in the first place. And then yeah, Bon Iver. I started listening to all of that music when I was like 15, and that was definitely sort of like a alternative folk um, introduction for me. And then I started listening to a lot of the Lumineers and Edward Sharpe, and I grew up with like a lot of Americana too. I listened to like a lot of Johnny Cash. That's a big thing in my family. And so yeah, it kind of comes from all sorts of sides of myself. And like I went to a Phoebe Bridgers concert when I was 15, and that like totally shifted my brain. And yeah, it just kind of got me interested in like female folk specifically. So it really, I mean, it all depends. I pull from a lot, honestly. And this project is the first time that I feel like I was kind of referencing myself over again, which is a cool feeling because you just collect so many inspirations and references over however many years you've been writing for. And yeah, it's been feeling really good recently. Just a big blend, a big mess of me.
Well, you've described yourself as a concert crier, not a town crier. What's a show that you've attended that left you emotional?
Oh my gosh. So many, so many. Let's see. I I saw Lana for the first time when I was like 11 and I was there with my older sister. And as soon as she walked out on stage, I started sobbing and I like fell to the ground sobbing. It was like really, honestly, very intense and dramatic. But I was 11 and I love her. And my older sister was like, yeah, she was probably like 21 at the time. And she was like, oh my God, get up. And was so annoyed with me. And but then we, felt the same way later on in that concert together. She's one of my best friends. But yeah, so that was a moment. I yeah, I cried at the Phoebe Bridgers concert I went to. I've seen her a couple times and I always cry. But yeah, Lana really does it for me. I there's so many moments. It's kind of hard to reference. When I was little, I was really obsessed with Billy Idol. That was like we would always, joke that we wish he was my biological dad. And so I went and saw him at the House of Blues in Vegas when I was 10. My mom figured it out and got me in and it was really cool and I'm pretty sure I sobbed through that whole show. So yeah, just depends on the person. I'm on tour with one of my best friends, Spencer, right now. I cried at his show like 2 nights ago. So it all depends on kind of how I'm feeling, but Lana, that concert crying experience was very special.
Yeah, I hear you. The older you get, like I'm older now. I used to go to concerts all the time. I used to play in a band. Didn't really phase
Nice.
me, but now I get out once in a while and I see one of these bands that I grew up, watching on
Hmm.
TV, on these music videos or listening to. I think it's a bit emotional, right? Not, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm away from the house without anybody else for the first time, but um, it's nice to have your own time away and center yourself, even though if you're going with friends, like you kind of like
Yeah. It's really intimate. Shows are really intimate no matter where you are. I mean, saw Taylor Swift last year, definitely cried at that. So it's like, no matter the size of the room you're in, I think it's all really special. And I think it's like the only time people really feel safe crying like that. It's because there's kind of an excuse.
Yeah, like they're not going to stop the concert and spotlight you out and,
That too, but like,
opera.
you
Like,
know, it's kind of, I don't feel like it's, I would never feel embarrassed. Well, I'm also just like, I cry in public all the time, but I wouldn't feel embarrassed crying at a concert because it's like so many people are feeling so many things around you that you're kind
yeah,
of just, I think you're like, okay to do that.
it's the best place to cry. That's right.
Yeah.
Your dream collaboration, I feel, is Lana Del Rey for sure. Lana, right?
Yes.
So, you said you can go home whenever you want to, but maybe you don't want to.
hmm
What does home mean to you now?
Well, when I was sort of writing that about Life's a Bitch, that song specifically. Yeah, I was talking about Clearwater, Florida, where I'm from, and but for me, I mean that means much more about the people there, and but also sort of what it represents because I mean, all my friends went to school and I didn't, and so kind of going home for me was always a weird experience because I just felt sort of outside of the community, but I mean, I'm still like very, I have so many friends in Florida and all my family's there, and I felt very comfortable, but I was just on like a slightly different path that didn't quite fit and didn't make me feel good being in Florida. So then I moved to LA and I realized that that's really a much more comfortable space for me. But yeah, just I guess, but then it's still freaky. You still get homesick. I think that's really natural. But I guess I was just sort of writing that as like a reminder to myself that that's what Life's a Bitch was. That like, life's a bitch, but I'm going to be okay, I guess.
Well, with that being said, Chloe, it's been awesome speaking with you.
Thanks.
It is true. Life is a bitch, so enjoy the ride.
Not right now, though. I'm good right now.
Yeah, well, what for you? For other people, it can be a bitch, but you got always got to look at the brighter side. Things will get better if you want them to. That is.
Yeah.
Sometimes surprises happen, and I wish you all the best, and hopefully you continue killing it on stage as you've been doing it over the last
Thank you so much.
couple of months, right? So
Yeah.
take care, and hopefully we'll see you again in Toronto.
Amazing. Thank you. So nice to meet you.
Cheers.